We're almost there. We're almost at Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Why is this on? Hold on. Am I missing something? Why was the background music on already? Boy, if Santa Claus has one wish, or if I had one wish for Santa Claus, me being King Claus, I would want to go ahead and learn how to actually do some video editing here and know how to properly run a YouTube channel. I have no idea what I'm doing. But that's not true. I do know what I'm doing. But it is almost Christmas. We're getting down there. Again, we're near the end of the football season. I don't know what any of you want from Santa Claus, but I know I really only have one true Christmas wish. And welcome everybody to the countdown. It's your boy King hanging out with you here on Stay Tuned Sports. Great to see everybody here. Got Crafty in the chat. We got Lloyd in the chat. Hi Lloyd, how are you? Good to see you. Merry Christmas, or Christmas Eve as it were, here. Tomorrow obviously being Christmas Eve, and then Thursday, Christmas Day, with three very lackluster. Boy, the NFL thought they were cooking. They thought they were cooking with those games when they scheduled that at the start of the season. And, boy, this season, as many seasons go, don't go the way you're looking. Don't go the way you're expecting. And I'll tell you what, who would have thought that Kansas City would have been already eliminated from the playoffs by 2 weeks by this time? Who would have thought that? Not I. Not I, said the Duck. We all kept on giving them the benefit of the doubt. Saying, man, who would have thought that the Ravens are on life support by this little much? They got to hope that the Browns can somehow upset the Pittsburgh Steelers, which can happen because the Browns almost upset the Buffalo Bills last week. And that's part of the poll question we have there in the chat. If you are part of the chat, come in and say hi, say hello, say how you doing. Is who had perhaps the worst win? I know a win is a win in the NFL, and so you don't really care whether it's a good win or a bad one. It's not college. Nobody gives a shit. But here on the Power Rankings, since Power Rankings are kind of like college rankings, and so that's kind of how we look at it, what would you think would be the worst win of Week 16? Why does it say 15 on there? Whoop, that's a misprint. That's a misprint. It's supposed to be Week 16 because it was Week 16 this week. Would it be the Bills beating the Browns 23-20, or was it the Texans defeating the Raiders 23-21, almost losing to the Raiders? That was going to be crazy. ELS in the chat, great to see you. By the way, yes, by the way, everybody, I'm a little disheveled. Again, it's Christmas time. Things are kind of moving all over the place here. If you like this channel, if you like anything that we're doing here, if you like me and my beautiful, beautiful face, hit that like button, hit that share button, let people know that we exist. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and being monetized here on this great and glorious platform known as YouTube. Now, as you're getting ready for the Christmas holiday, wrapping gifts, doing some last-minute shopping, whatever it is that you're doing, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have as what I feel, personally, are the best 12 teams in the world of professional football right now, and who are actually the 5 worst teams. We're going to start that off right now. No more dilly-dallying. Again, it's Christmas time. I don't want to waste your time any more than I have to, because let's face facts, this is all time wasting here. That's all any of this is, and we're having fun with it. That's all. But enough of me jibber-jabbering. Let's jump over to the vertical board here, and let's start taking a look at what are we going to look at first? What do we always look at first? Oh, that's right, the booty cheeks. So let's go ahead and take a look at those booty cheeks 5 right now. Drop that down here for you. After Week 16, who do we got in our booty cheeks on this Christmas holiday? Everybody loves having a little fun in their booty cheeks on Christmas, apparently. I don't know. I should shut up and just go ahead. And who do we got here? At number 28, brand new to the booty cheeks. They haven't been here all season. Maybe they should have been at some point. But it took a while for them to get here. My beloved Desert Birds, the Arizona Cardinals, they have dropped down to number 28 here in the Booty Cheeks 5. Never mind that noise in the background. That's my dishwasher. Again, it's Christmas time. Things are busy. Things are going. You're going to have a dishwasher in the background every now and then. Nothing you can do about that. Again, the Cardinals, I was hoping they were going to do well. I was hoping they were going to do better. It seemed like the offense was going to do better under Brissett than it did with Kyler Murray. I mean, I guess at some sense it did, but it wasn't great. And it still hasn't been great. And now they're sitting there at 3-12. At number 28 in my Booty Cheeks 5. At number 29, up 2 spots with their almost upset of the Buffalo Bills, the Cleveland Browns. Now, again, when it comes to the Browns, we're the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it's not anything spectacular with them. Do they only have 2 wins or do they have 3 wins? Do I have the wrong record there for the Browns? I do. Oh, my God. The Browns aren't 2-12. They're 3-12. God, I am bad at graphics. Or just, paying attention to detail. That's another thing, too. But the Browns are 3-12, not 2-12. Doesn't matter. They suck. I mean, at this point, it's like, who gives a shit? They suck. That's true, too. But they move up 2 spots with the game they had against the Bills. Again, when the Bills, they had that big comeback win against the Patriots last week, you figure, okay, this is a game. It should be an easy win for them. They're trying to keep pace with the Patriots. They're trying to stay there in the AFC East race. And then to almost blow this game, like that's if I'm a Bills fan, there's been a lot to worry about this year. That is, to me, I think, one of the biggest worries. And the fact that almost happened is a huge, huge problem. Paul in the chat, great to see you, Paul, says, please insert my Colts into the Booty Cheeks 5. Paul, I think you're being a little too hard on your Colts. Again, they had a lot of, they had so many bad things happen to them. Obviously, we know the Daniel Jones stuff. Then they had, Anthony Richardson, which might have, he might have served well as a backup at this point, but he has the weird exercise band to the eye, breaking his orbital bone, and is obviously seriously putting his entire career at risk at this point, I think. I think it's a lot more serious than what anybody really wants to say right now from the Colts standpoint. So you have that. A lot of the other injuries you trade, you go all in, you get Sauce Gardner, and then he gets injured, and it's just been bad karma and bad luck and bad karma. And let's not forget that Brandon Perna and his curse wheel has absolutely eviscerated the Colts. What was it, like 4 times this season? So I would actually blame Brandon Perna a little bit too over there from That's Good Sports. I would 100% blame him. Again, it is what it is for the Colts, but I think you're being a little too hard for them. I would not put them in a Booty Cheeks 5, clearly. At number 30, oh my God, they climbed out of hell. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was ever going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, the Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas have climbed out of hell and up 2 spots, up to number 30 in the Booty Cheeks 5. Granted, they're still 3-11. Granted, they still lost. I'm sorry, they're 2-12. See, this is the problem. Is I really screwed up on I put the wrong wins. They're 2-11, 2-12. The Browns are 3-11. The Raiders are 2-12. I don't know how I got that mixed up. I don't know why they're 3-12. Never mind. I thought I had this right. This is why you don't do this at the last minute. Either way, Raiders 2-13 is what they are. They're 2-13. Browns are 3-12. Raiders are 2-13. I don't know. How did I screw that up? I had everything there. This is why you shouldn't watch this show. This is why you absolutely should not watch this show. You should not hit that like button. You should not hit the share button. You shouldn't hit anything like that. Because here I am. I thought I had everything set, ready to go. Instead, I wonder how badly I screwed up the other one. I wonder how badly I screwed up the top 12. Either way, Raiders at 30. They played well. Should have probably beaten the Texans. Ashton Genty finally had his breakout game against the Texans. And so, again, the Texans win. All that matters in the NFL is the win column. So that's good for them. But if you're looking at it from the outside, again, Stroud has played better than he did early on in the season, but not that great. And for the defense that there's this great and vaunted defense here, you let the Raiders of all teams put 21 up on you. It's actually pretty incredible. Paul says, I'm actually all alone this Christmas, so no hugs. Oh, man, I'm sorry. He says, I'm a big boy. I'll survive. It's okay, brother. Hey, listen. this Christmas holiday, you got to remember that we're here for you. And I'm always here for you with my terribly done graphics and my records that are completely wrong and that I don't know what I'm doing. But we're at least not knowing what we're doing together here, Paul. So that's okay. Again, I got the wrong week in the poll chat. I got the wrong records in here. And at 31, we got the Giants. That record I got right. 2-13 for the New York Football Giants as they sit there at the 31 spot. Not great. Again, they had such a terrible game against the Vikings. Jackson Dart in the first half, I believe he was 1 for 5 for -2 yards passing. Giants football, baby. Now people are questioning whether Jackson Dart is the right guy. People are wondering, should the Giants actually get rid of Jackson Dart and draft somebody else, Mendoza or Pavia or one of these other guys out of the draft coming out? Again, I don't think so. I think we'll be okay. I think Jackson Dart will be okay once the Giants get some kind of stability here with this franchise. But it's not a great way to end the season. Again, like I said, I'm not as focused on the number one draft pick because it feels like we already got our quarterback. We already got our guy. So having the number one pick, is kind of a whoop-de-shit kind of moment. It's like this year, a couple years ago, where we could have gotten Drake May or something like that, maybe then that's a little different. But right now, it doesn't matter. Maybe it's better because we can use that for trade capital and stuff like that. But you could do that at number one, number two, whatever. Again, I think the last real chance for a win will be against the Raiders coming up this week. But who knows? The way the Giants have been playing and the way the Raiders have been playing, that seems like the Raiders might blow the Giants out of the water here. So we'll see coming up here. And now, since the Raiders are up 2 spots at 30, there's a new resident in football hell. Who could it be? Who could it possibly be? You know it. I know it. Man, it's a rough time to be a New York football fan. Whether you like the Jets, whether you like the Giants, whether you're someone like me that kind of roots for both of them. Obviously, I'm more of a Giants fan, but I do root for the Jets. They're my AFC team. And if you're a Jets fan, I'm sure Jets fans, pretty much to a Jet fan, hate the Giants because, they're big brother. But I know there's a couple of Jet fans, too, that look at it as like, yeah, I root for the Giants, too, because they were the NFC game that was on CBS, so I'd watch them, too. So I never had a real problem with that. But looking over the last 15 years, it has been frickin' torture to be a New York football fan. And it is no different right now. The Jets go down to New Orleans and get absolutely smoked by the New Orleans Saints, who were wearing their all-gold uniforms. That was just, it was something. It was something. So you got clowned by a team dressed kind of clowny, and that is just that is bad. Now the Jets earlier on this year put together those 3 wins, and so that's why they were not in the lowest spot for a while. And I didn't think the Raiders would ever leave that spot. I really didn't. But the way the Raiders, even at 2-13, were able to go ahead and get up in that spot was pretty incredible. And almost beat the Houston Texans, which I think we all thought here, especially during Friday Forecast, I was just like, Texans next. I spent no time thinking about that Raiders-Texans game. Meanwhile, the Raiders almost pulled off maybe what might have been the upset of the year. Them and the Browns, both them and the Browns, had a chance to really pull off a big upset on Sunday, but didn't. But the Jets, boy, they have gone back to their regularly scheduled Jets is what we have. By the way, the Just End the Season shirts are still available in the Stay Tuned Sports merch store. If you want to go check that out, bit.ly/Stay Tuned to merch, or link in the top of the chat and in the description below. Pick up that. You won't get it for Christmas, but it could be a belated Christmas present. Or if you got somebody with a birthday in January, you can give them and be like, yeah, just end the season. The season's over now, but here you go. And that's fine. By the way, the Jets only have 2 more games left in order to get an interception on defense before they would have an unbreakable record, and that would be a defense that did not have a single interception all season. So we're going to see if that's indeed something that happens there. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your Booty Cheeks 5. The record. Pay no attention to the records. They are not putting it in there right. Things were just Bad. I'm just bad. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad host. I'm a bad showrunner. Bottom line. But the Cardinals at 28, the Browns at 29, the Raiders climb out of hell and get to 30. The Giants drop down 2 spots to number 31 again. And in hell, your New York Jetropolitans. That's where we stand there on the booty cheeks. Paul in the chat says, definitely sucks to be at the bottom of the league for that long. I feel your pain, New York. That's the thing. The Jets and Giants, both of them, have more losses in the last 15 years than the Cleveland Browns. And everybody's status for, losing franchises, bad franchises, has been, and I think forever will be, the Cleveland Browns. But when you look at it actually on paper, the Cleveland Browns, they had a year where they had 0 wins. I think they were 0-16 and then 1-15 in the last 15 years. That happened. The Cleveland Browns went 2 years and won 1 game. And the Giants and Jets have less wins than the Cleveland Browns. I just want to point that out to show how futile Giants football and Jets football has been for the last 15 years. Lloyd in the chat says, King, you fired. Yeah, I probably should be. I don't know what I'm doing. I am a monkey pressing buttons here. I have no idea what's going on. But speaking of monkey pressing buttons, let me press your buttons, and probably a lot of other people's buttons, as let's go ahead and take a look at who I have in the top 12 for this week, week 16. Pull this up over here, and we will start down at number 12. Who do we have at number 12? Surprisingly, I've got the Pittsburgh Steelers, 9-6. They sit on top of the AFC. If they beat the Browns this week, they win the AFC North. They make the playoffs, and they would eliminate the Baltimore Ravens before their final clash on the last week of the season. Interesting. And now, again, maybe we all thought this would be, I think the Ravens still have a chance because the Browns played so well against the Bills. It's like, boy, just put that same kind of effort here against the Steelers, and you got a chance to really screw up the Steelers' day. And if there's one thing that the Browns and Cleveland would love to do, it's to screw up Cleveland's day. But at that point, it would also help out Baltimore. And at this point, I'm not sure who Cleveland hates more, Pittsburgh or the former Cleveland Browns in the Baltimore Ravens. I'm not quite sure which one they hate more and which one they would like to hurt more. I don't know. Or maybe they'll just go out there and try to get a win. We'll see what happens. But for now, I have the Steelers. They are just squeaking in to the bottom of the top 12. They're at number 12, 9-6, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Lloyd says 12 fits for the Steelers, to be honest, due to how DK played. Jesus Christ. Leave DK Metcalf. Leave DK alone. Use his government name. At number 11, down 4 spots, I have the Denver Broncos sitting at 12-3. Listen, the Broncos for me were always one of those teams. It's like they are not playing well. They have yet to play a full 60-minute football game. Their defense was good earlier on in the season, but if you look at some of the stats, the defense has fallen off, incredibly so, in the last 5-6 games or so from what they were. Now, again, it's still a good defense, but not the world-beating defense that everybody thought that the Broncos would have. That being said, they still haven't played a full 60-minute game, offense, defense, special teams, and really put their mark on it. And I think they had a chance this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team who has had its own consistency problems that we've all thought, man, can Trevor Lawrence put together just a couple of good games here? Can he put together a full game? Can the Jaguars really do something? And now, after this week, I feel far more confident with the Jacksonville Jaguars than I do with the Denver Broncos. The Jacksonville Jaguars go into Denver, win by 2 touchdowns over Denver. And again, Jacksonville looks really good, really sharp heading out. And this was a huge test, I think, for them. And it's not like they went in there and squeezed one out against who was, at the time, the top team in the AFC. They went in there, and again, 14-point win. That is a statement, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a statement for Jacksonville, but that is a statement also for the Denver Broncos. And that statement is frauds? Perhaps. We'll see. At number 11, I have the Broncos. there at 12-3. At number 10, at 11-4, another team that, boy, they almost bit it. They almost bit it against the Browns, but they didn't. I moved them down a spot. Rarely do I move a team down after they win. But like I said, I think it was a bad win for the Bills there in Cleveland. You had to show me more than that after having to come back the way you did against the Patriots, fighting to still be in the AFC East race, still fighting to be a team that is a danger in the AFC playoffs and that could possibly make a run. You almost lay an egg against one of the bootiest cheeks of booty cheeks teams. It was hard to do it. Now, again, they did win, and again, in the NFL, the wins are what matters, but since this is a ranking show, run it like college football here, that was a win. It was not an impressive win. It was not a good win, and that's why they've moved down one spot in the rankings. 11-4, the Bills, at number 10. Number 9, the Philadelphia Eagles. I got them up 2 spots there, up to 9, sitting at 10-5. They were down very early there to the Washington Redskins. They were able to go ahead and pull that game back. Again, Redskins had a lot of injuries again, and there was, this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of the day, the Eagles go ahead. They put their stamp on. They win the NFC East, the first team to repeat as champion since the Eagles did it back in 2004. So it's been, 20, 21 seasons now since since there was an NFC East team that did repeat as champions, and now it happens just to be the Eagles who do that. But again, they won. I still think they have a lot of issues. I think they have a lot of problems. I think they have a lot of injuries. I think you're worried tremendously about Jalen Hurts. I think you're worried tremendously how your running game has not been able to get going. I think you're worried about your defense and how they are not very good at stopping the run. I think you have a lot to worry about here for the Eagles, if you're an Eagles fan. I also think that there are a lot of positives, that this Eagles team never really goes away. You've got 10 wins. Okay, you won a division. You're going to have a home game in the playoffs. So you have to look at it from that standpoint. But I'm having a hard time buying in to the Philadelphia Eagles right now. And but still, good win down in Washington, or Landover, Maryland, as it were. 10-5, the Eagles up to number 9. Number 8, you have the Chargers. Go, Chargers, go, as they sit at number 8 now after their victory. They played the Cowboys, right? Yeah, they played the Cowboys and won pretty decisively, 34-17 down there at AT&T Stadium. Again, they have now clinched after the Colts lost last night. They've clinched. They are in the playoffs, but they're also still fighting to see if they can get, especially with that Broncos loss, they are still alive for the AFC West title. And I don't know if they're alive for the number 1 seed, but they're definitely alive for the AFC West title. So that's interesting to see if the Chargers can go ahead and snatch that away from the Denver Broncos. That'll be an interesting thing to see, because their next 2 games here are, if I can pull this up here, they have the Texans coming up on Christmas Saturday. That's going to be 4:30. And then the last game of the year, obviously, will be against those Denver Broncos. So if they can beat the Texans, if they can still go into that last week, either 1 game behind or tied with the Broncos, which they've already beaten the Broncos once. So if they sweep the Broncos, have the ability to get that tiebreaker and clinch the AFC West, that'll be pretty incredible. So the Chargers, again, have a lot to play for these last 2 weeks. Going to be fun to see that. Chargers, I moved them up 4 spots, up to number 8. At 11-4, the Chargers, number 8 on the list. Number 7, those Houston Texans. And again, 1, but boy, you can't struggle like that and basically have a game where you should have lost to the Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas and still say, like, oh, we had a great run. We're still doing that. Now, again, a win is a win is a win in the NFL, so that is all that matters. But, again, this is a ranking show, so we run things a little different here. And based on the eyeball test, which we have here, what a step back here for the Texans. Now, again, could it just be a hiccup game? Could they have been looking past these Raiders and said, guys, it's the Raiders. We don't want. Let's worry about the Chargers. Let's worry about the games that we have coming up here. We've got 2 more games here. Let's make sure we close this out. Let's make sure we keep the Colts out. Let's make sure we try to win we can still win the South here. We got to stay focused here against the Jaguars. That's who we got to watch out for. That could be that they were just looking past the Raiders, and that's why that game happened. But good teams don't look past your opponents. Whether they're good, whether they're bad, doesn't matter. You don't look past any opponent in the NFL. So it's either the Texans have declined in quality, or they just were not prepared, or they were looking past. Either way, it's not a great look. They did win against a atrocious team in the Raiders. So that's why, even though they got to win, they moved down just a tick, 1 spot to number 7. The Texans at number 7 at 10-5. At number 6, we've got the Bears. Bears up 2 spots. They go into they didn't go anywhere. They went home. They went to Soldier Field, and in a exciting, wonderful game, they were able to come back late in the foot, which they seem to have done a lot this year. They come back late. They're never out of any of these games. They went down, and then Caleb Williams, God bless him, for all the talk around him of whether he could be a real quarterback, whether he's really that good, whether he's this, whether he's that, Mr. Paints his nails, all the other stuff. He cried to his mom in college and all the other stuff. Everybody's been talking about that stuff. It's like, at the end of the day, he's got Ben Johnson there with him, and while he does look a little shaky at times here or there, boy, when the ball needs to get to a place, he's able to go ahead and put it there. And he did that in overtime, got it right down there to DJ Moore, got the win. This Bears team is on the cusp of something very special, I think, And again, they're a team that, when you look at them, are they the most consistent? No, so I might be going against my own narrative in my own head here that I have with some other teams. But they're still winning games, and they're winning them, I want to say almost impressively, because like I said, it's the point where they're never out of it, and you can see them slowly build up to it. It's not a case of, and they're beating good teams, they're beating divisional opponents, they're doing very well. And again, they can call me a hypocrite, but again, it's my list. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. So that's how we do it. You don't like it, make your own list. But that's why I do this. And then again, you can make your own list, but it won't be as good as mine because I'm the smartest man alive. I think we all understand that. Kenneth in the chat says, "Hey, my friend, how you doing tonight?" I'm doing good. Either way, Merry Christmas to all of you, to all my friends, and everybody here on YouTube. And Merry Christmas Eve to you as well, Kenneth. Thank you so much for joining us here. So, with that being said, the Bears are close to what they're going to. What is the Bears are currently? Yeah, the Bears can clinch. From what it seems like, they can clinch the North, or did they already clinch the North? No, I think they just clinched the playoff spot as of now, but they can clinch the North if they win. Who are they playing? They play the 49ers this week on Sunday night. That should be a good game, and then they close out with the Lions. Either way, the Bears are in the playoffs, and they've pretty much locked up the NFC North. So you win a division, an NFC North that everybody thought was going to be a fight between the Packers and the Lions, and maybe the Vikings will get in there. Maybe J.J. McCarthy will be good. Nobody thought about the Bears. Nobody gave them a thought, even with Ben Johnson coming in, and the Bears have come in and done what a lot of people didn't think was going to happen, and possibly win the NFC North. And so that's why I have them up 2 spots to number 6. Number 5, now here we are, top 5 of the top 12, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And again, this is going to be hard because now we're reaching the part of the standings here, the part of the rankings that everybody's so good and everybody's moving around. I can't really move other teams around because of how other teams performed and did. So as impressive as the Jaguars win was in Denver, I couldn't move them up because there were other teams on this list that I do think still are better than Jacksonville, but they have certainly shown that they are one of these top teams, and they could very easily be a top 4, top 3, even I think top 2 team on this list. But just as things are breaking down right now in Week 16, I didn't feel like I could move them above any of the other teams that I have above them right now. That being said, massively impressed with how they went into Mile High and got not just a win, but a dominating statement win against the Denver Broncos, who were the AFC leading team there. The fact that they've gone in, and I think they still are based off tiebreakers with the Patriots, but we'll see how that all breaks down. But that being said, that the fact that the Jaguars went in there with people questioning Trevor Lawrence as they do, questioning the Jaguars, and can they be consistent enough, which is a hilarious question when they are going up against the Broncos, and everybody seemed to think the Broncos would take care of the Jaguars. But the Jaguars go on the road to a difficult place to play. They're a Florida team going up to a place where it's cold, although I think it was like 60 degrees in Denver on Sunday, so not bad. Thin air, all that stuff, the loud home crowd, that whole environment, and the Jaguars were able to go in there, and like I said, not squeak out a victory, not like, oh boy, they really, it's a win, but it was really close. They went up there and they put their foot down and made a statement and said, we're going to be an AFC team that you have to watch out for in the playoffs. Massively impressed by them. Again, I think if there were certain teams on here that perhaps performed differently and were under different circumstances, maybe I put them up a little bit higher. But for now, they stay at number 5 at 11-4, the Jacksonville Jaguars. At number 4, I have the 49ers. Again, a massively impressive victory against the Colts, a team that was desperate. Phillip Rivers had a fantastic game yesterday. Phillip Rivers, he played his ass off. Had what? I forget what it was. It was like over 250 on yards. Completions were good. He had 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, whatever it was. 2 interceptions hurt, that's for sure. Especially the pick 6. But like the Colts played a very good game, at least offensively. Defense, a little bit of Paul would definitely tell you in our chat, our resident Colts fan would tell you, defense was a little iffy. But still, a very game Colts team that the 49ers went into the Lucas Oil Stadium there. And Brock Purdy just dropped his nuts on everybody. 5 touchdowns. Just, I think it was well over 300 yards. That was a Brock Purdy game from start to finish. Kittle played well. He was injured late. He says he's fine, so we'll see how that plays out for them. Again, with the San Francisco 49ers injury, it doesn't seem to matter. It doesn't seem to bother them at all. So the 49ers, 11-4, they stay where they are. For again, that's another team I could have definitely 100% moved up here in my rankings, but based on where all these other teams and how they played and how they finished, I didn't feel exactly capable of doing that. So the Niners, even after their massively impressive victory on Monday night, stay where they are, number 4 at 11-4. Number 3, the New England Patriots. They say the third straight team stay like they did before after they had a incredible comeback victory over the Baltimore Ravens. That was another overtime game that we watched to get on a great. This was a great week of football. I know we've complained a lot this season how the refs have made the games unwatchable. Some of the other games that we watch have been unwatchable. Some of the primetime games have been bad. This week, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, fun, good football to watch. And we had some classics back to back. Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, classic primetime games, fantastic games. The Patriots, again, Drake May had an amazing game against the Ravens. The Ravens, a desperate team, trying like hell, all they could to stay in it. Lamar Jackson gets hurt at the end of the second quarter, hurts his back, is unable to come back and play in the game. Snoop Huntley comes in, performs admirably, but you had a fumble there from Derrick Henry. You had a couple other mistakes there from the Ravens, and it allowed the Patriots back into the game. They were able to go ahead and take advantage, come all the way back, and then win that game at the end. Impressive for the Patriots. But again, couldn't quite move them up as much as I wanted to. But there they are at number 3. No change from last week. 12-3, the Patriots. At number 2, down 1 spot, the Los Angeles Rams. Again, last Thursday night was a classic. And since, obviously, I think we all know who number one is, and we're going to be talking about it, we'll pop them up there. The Seahawks at number one. They move up a spot. So the Seahawks and Rams swap here. Seahawks at 12-3. Rams at 11-4. Crafty in the chat says the 49ers pass rush is noticeably weaker without Bosa and Warner. That might be their only real weakness. Yes, but again, the rest of the defense has stepped up there for the 49ers, if I'll say that. But I'll tell you what, man, that Seahawks-Rams game might be game of the year. And it was what a game. What a comeback from the Seahawks. What a back and forth from both teams. Both teams played really well. Again, Sam Darnold looked like when he threw that interception right at the goal line, I think that was his second interception, threw it right at the goal line, and you're figuring, okay, this is done. And the boo birds are coming out, and it's just like, it's looking like everything's going to go wrong. Then the Seattle defense steps up, gets the 3-and-out, and then Rashid Shaheed gets the run back touchdown on the punt return. And boy, if there ever was a game that you could point to any of those other people out there that said, momentum isn't a real thing. It's all about talent and skill and everything else. That momentum doesn't. This is when you tell them, sweetheart, shush your little face. Point them to this game and tell them to shut the fuck up. Because this game right here between these two teams was the biggest example of a momentum shift creating the opportunity for a win I've ever seen. It was the clearest example of what momentum can do in a football game, and you saw it there, and it turned out to be a victory for the Seahawks. So now the Seahawks have the inside track at the number one seed in the NFC, and for a team that I think a lot of people, not me, man. I mean, I was one of the good ones. Been beating the drum on the Seahawks for a couple weeks now, for about half the season, I want to say. I said, Seahawks, man, you got to watch out for them Seahawks. But for that, the main bulk of media and people talking about football have really not paid attention to the Seahawks. I think they are quietly one of, and as I certainly sit here right now, think they are the number one team, the best team in the NFL as we sit here after week 16. In the chat here, Crafty says, Bears at number 6 after needing a miracle to pull out the Packers game, but Broncos are number 11 after beating a less injured Packers team far more decisively. Okay, but I'm talking about this way. Come on, Crafty. Come on, Crafty. Kenneth, we already talked about Kenneth there. Crafty in the chat says 49ers. Oh, he said that. ELS has given his. Top 12, I'll get to that in a second. Crafty says the Patriots are a solid all-around team, but I'm not sure they do any one thing spectacularly. I'd rate them behind more explosive teams like the Hawks, Rams, 49ers, and Jaguars. Here's the thing. Like, just because they don't do something explosively or they don't do something spectacularly, Drake May still is putting up fantastic, wonderful numbers. The offense is efficient. The defense is good enough. And here's the thing. You don't need to be spectacular to be great. You don't need to have one section of your football team be the greatest of all time to make it, because usually when that happens, it's that reason, because you have to make up for another shortcoming somewhere else on your team. So that's what I mean. So when you have a team that is all around good, when the offense is good to great, but not spectacular, like you said. Defense is good, not great. Special teams is efficient. When you put that all together, those are teams that win championships. It's the other teams there that have this is the number one ranked offense. This defense is great. Now again, I think really the last team to do that with the defense being so much better, like where there was one part of their team that was so much better than any other part. Like, I really think it was probably the Ravens back in the 2000 season. But outside of that, just because a team isn't super explosive in one area, I don't think that diminishes the fact that as a whole unit, as a team, that takes away from them being great. So that's why I still have the Patriots there at number 3. You can go ahead and move the Niners up and down, but like we even said before, like even you just said before with the Niners pass rush, not as great. Even though Brock Purdy, as we've seen now, he's back on his bag. He's back on his shit, tossing 5 touchdowns, doing all those things. There's still a little bit of worry about the injuries and about, like you said, those little bits. So, and again, my list. I do whatever the fuck I want. Woohoo! Crafty also, man, Crafty just letting it fly. I like that. He says the Hawks win over the Rams lit a fire on them. Problem for the Hawks is that they lit the fire under the 49ers as well. That's what I mean. 49ers are still very much in the race for the NFC West and for the number 1 seed. Now that's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out, because the 49ers last 2 games, as we said, they're playing the Bears on Sunday night. That's going to be a fun one. And then they end up with the Seahawks. So if the 49ers can are they playing at Chicago? No, they're playing. So their next 2 games are at home. And as it was brought up, I think, on a couple other places today, if the 49ers win their next 2 games at home, I think that they will then be the number 1 seed, which means that they have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And if that all goes to chalk, then the Super Bowl is at least the 49ers can potentially play the last 5 games of the season. Here, there are 2 games in the regular season, 2 games in the playoffs, and with Super Bowl, all at Levi Stadium. That'd be pretty interesting. That'd be pretty fun. By the way, ELS, his top 12 that he's given here, he's got the Eagles all the way down at 12, the Texans. He has them all the way down at 11. Boy, ELS hating them Texans. Number 10, he's got the Broncos. Number 9, he's got the Chargers. Number 8, he's got the Steelers all the way up at 8. The Niners only at 7. The Bears at 6. The Bills at 5. The Jaguars at 4. The Pats at 3. The Rams at number 2. And the Seahawks at number 1. Crafty in the chat said, yeah, that's what we just said. The Niners need to win out with the Bears and the Seahawks, and they win the NFC. The Rams need both the Hawks and the Niners each to lose at least 1 game in order to regain the top seed for them to be back up there. And having those back-to-back games, and that's the thing, those back-to-back games at home, they win those 2 games, they get home field advantage, which means that They can just sit at home, baby. Like, the Niners are in a advantageous position. And who would have thought, with all of the injuries they've had, that they would be in this position to where all they have to do is win their last 2 games at home. Now, again, they're not going to be easy games. Bears are obviously not an easy team to beat, and clearly neither are the Seahawks. So they're going to be games, but being home is a big advantage. Let's see if the Niners can go ahead and pull that off. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Your NFL Top 12 Power Rankings here after Week 16. The Seahawks at 1, the Rams sitting at number 2 after that epic Thursday night clash. The Patriots at 3. They stay as before, as do the Niners and the Jaguars after their big win in Denver. The Bears at number 6. The Texans at 7, the Chargers at 8, the Eagles at number 9, the Bills at 10, the Broncos down to 11, and the Pittsburgh Steelers sneaking their way in at number 12. Paul in the chat says the Niners defense will get exposed during the playoffs. Perhaps that will happen, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think if it's going to get exposed, we'll see in the next 2 games, either against the Bears or the Seahawks. We'll see, because those are 2 playoff teams and 2 teams that are still playing for something. The Bears still have to play to go ahead and clinch the NFC North, and then obviously they have to play against the Seahawks, and both those teams will have a lot to play for there on Sunday. That's probably going to end up being the final game of the season on Sunday Night Football if everything goes the way if everything goes the way it goes, and that's going to be for the NFC, who gets it, Seahawks and Niners, that's probably going to be your Sunday night game that they flex in there. So I will not be doing any of the Christmas games. I will be at in-laws' house, my sister-in-law's house for Christmas. So we will not be doing any of those games, and I'm going to be honest with you. If there's a Christmas to miss, this is a Christmas to miss. The matchups on Christmas Day, not great. Not great. But we will be back here for the Saturday games, and I think I'll be here for Friday, so we'll be able to do the Friday forecast for you guys. So we'll get all that done there for you. Crafty, by the way, he's given his top 12 now. He says he's got the Steelers at 12, the Eagles at 11, the Chargers at 10. He's got the Bills at 9, Texans at 8, Bears at 7, Patriots at 6. He's got the Broncos all the way up at 5, the Jaguars at 4, the Niners he has sitting at 3, the Rams at 2, and the Hawks at 1. So we're not far off. We're on a couple of them. But I think we all think that the NFC West owns the top 3, 4, 5 spots here in the power rankings, and I think that's hard to argue at this point. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That has been the countdown. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and really just thank you for this whole season, and thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for being here. I guess that I'll say this: the Christmas gift that I've gotten has been from you guys, from actually watching and contributing and being part of the community. And all those things, and we've had Kenneth in here, and he's gotten a couple of other YouTubers to raid here, and you guys have spread the word about us. You guys participate in the chat. You guys participate in the Discord. I honestly never thought I would get to this point where we'd even have the people that we do. I thought I would be yammering on here to myself. And nobody would want to listen. Nobody would want to hear some fat, balding New Jerseyite sitting here just yammering on about football or sports or curling or Taylor Swift or anything. But you guys have been here, and you guys have been just absolutely fantastic and wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. And I guess that'll be my Christmas message to all of you guys. Thank you, all of you, for supporting this channel. That's the Christmas gift that you guys have given to me, and I cannot thank you enough. So thank you all. I certainly hope that you all have a wonderful and great Merry Christmas, holiday, whatever you guys want to do there. If you got some Kwanzaa people in here, that's fantastic. Hope you have a fantastic Kwanzaa. Is Hanukkah still going on? I have no idea, but I certainly hope that you all have a great and wonderful Christmas, holiday season, and enjoy your friends, enjoy your family. Enjoy your time alone if that's what you're doing as well. Sometimes, especially around this time, that's not a bad thing either. Trust me, I get that as well. Sometimes you get overstimulated and it's just like, Daddy needs some quiet, but I gotta have some quiet. So I get that. However you enjoy your holiday, please, I certainly hope that you do so. Happy, safe, and wonderful holiday weekend here. And I'll see you guys all on Friday for the Friday forecast. And then Saturday, we'll have a couple games on here we'll watch along with. And we're right back into the swing of it. And then next week, 2026 coming here, baby. So that's going to be all good times and fun. If you like any part of this, please, especially the screw-ups on the graphics, if you like any of that, please hit the like button, hit the share button, let people know we exist, and, of course, hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Links in the description below for the donation station and our merch store and the Discord if you want to join that as well. It's very quiet. It's very slow, but you can go ahead in there and join and maybe spice up the community as it's going. But I want to thank you all so very much. Like I said, have a great and wonderful Christmas weekend. I will see you all on Friday for the Friday forecast. Until then, my name is King. This has been the Countdown on Stay Tuned Sports. Adios.